Fire, what you saying?
Yes, Fire Key, give thanks to life,
Now, serious thing, we are here again, Baldhead and the Dread podcast. We give thanks for everyone been supporting the things from those times till now. If you get free time, make sure you check out Generation Gap Riddim. Blazing tunes, Fire. When I say blaze, I mean the thing blazing. You get what I'm saying? Tunes there from the young warrior here, Autarchii. We have Muda Baruka on the thing. I'm Maru Tafari, Loot and Fire. And so the thing's set, Make sure you check out the Bridging EP sitting there too. Disrupting the status quo there. And June 25th, Chant Down Baltimore. Make sure you save the date live on stage. Freddie McGregor, Ibamar, Autarchii, Jerry Johnson, and the one Prophet Ancient with the Naya Bingy sounds. Fire, what we're reasoning about today?
So persistence is to try. Well, we're reasoning about persistence being the greatest factor as it relates to faith, because if you don't have persistence in anything at all, it's impossible for the journey carry on. So we break it down in the reasoning, show the one them how it contribute on different aspects of that,
It's funny, that's the reason still, because we've been meds in that still in regards to observing. I'm a man, just observe life, tell you the truth in my free time. And I've been really meds in this idea. First, I want to talk to my Christian brethren and sisters, right? And the fact that especially many of us in these colonial countries, I guess, align ourselves with Christian. I can't say they're Christian. They align themselves with Christianity because unfortunately too many don't fully know the full tenets of the thing, and they don't practice it right. But in regards to this faith vibe, right, it's definitely a situation where I think you can understand a person's faith in something, as you stated, based on how much persistence they have in that particular thing. Because persistence, when you really break it down to its essence, is you going into the unknown, having a sense of faith in the outcome that you believe in, right? So persistence can be into personal development. Persistence can be in regards to chasing a goal, that type of vibe, right? So yes, persistence would be the highest form of faith. Now, the problem is a lot of people don't have any faith because they're not persistent in anything. And I think that's one of our greatest faults collectively as a people is that through, and yes, we could blame it on many different aspects, right? But I think one of the greatest hurdles we have to overcome is our faith / persistence. And when I say faith, I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm talking about faith in regards to accomplishing things. And yes, before we even get there, we got to get into self-worth, self-love, and all those type of vibes. But if a person had more persistence and more faith in themselves, we'll be able to accomplish more collectively, not as an individual, but more as a collectively, and faith in others too, and just faith. I just think we're in a time now where everybody on this like end the world type vibe. You get what I'm saying? Like a very dark view of the world. And you can look at the realities of the world and not internalize a dark view of the world. You still can have faith and have a hope for the future, So I think we're definitely in a time where it's like this hopelessness energy going on,
It's a thing where continuity is not a normal thing, because people might hear the word persistent and not really think about it, Just imagine you do something and you are carry on the particular thing that have the determination to make sure say this thing can get done. You have the perseverance to make sure say this thing can get done. And if you look upon it from a religious standpoint, too, the way how persistence is important is that you can't be religious if you're not persistent, because you have certain codes and certain morals where you have to follow, and you have to follow that continuously in order for you be instilled in that religion. Because when I want to, let's say, I have to pray. Prayer is a form of persistence. You see me, I say, if a man tell us, say, he have to go think about God and him do something, everything him do, him say, thank God. He might have to be very persistent in a thanking God, because a something he have to tell himself. And if you have to constantly tell yourself, this particular thing. It's persistence. So what we find now is that a lot of people have persistence in a certain aspects of things or certain particular doings with them carry out, but them don't have the persistence in a them developmental part of them life. So a man we go to church, a man we make sure say them pray to God, all of these things, them persistent in these things where them indoctrinated towards. But for the things them for them personal development, them not really persistent in it. So I feel like say that is where ones and ones need to learn the key balance there, the key balance there. Because perseverance is not a normal thing in a fire. You know, the average person can't persevere one particular task.
Fire thing not a normal thing when you think about it. Yeah. Perseverance not a normal thing. Fire.
It's a different type of thing. So you have to zone in yourself now and say, all right, how do I get this done? As even the same version say, one of my favorite songs, Naris Mime, so persistence is to try. And then the way I think about now is, what are you going to try? And how you go ensure say you trying this particular thing lead to yielding of result.
Fire, you brought up a bunch of great points, but I want to touch on this one before I forget. In regards to what people have persistence in is what they find important, but more than anything is what they feel they can do. So that tie back in the faith part in regards to believing in yourself, right? You use church, for example. You have people not missing church, fire. All the earth could be burning, they're going to make it, right? Because one is important and they feel they can do it. Now, in order for this persistence thing to work and the faith thing to actually work, you have to develop your belief system. And you do that by like accomplishing stuff. So I notice with some people now, they really flop themselves in the sense that they get gung-ho to do something, but it's something that's not actually doable at the moment because they don't have enough skills and they don't have enough tools in the toolbox to accomplish it. So when they don't accomplish it, now they get totally turned off. And I think what people need to do is start from small. That's why I burn out the Instagram and all these things, because from a psychological standpoint, from what I understand, the more you share stuff is the less you do. Because the sharing takes the place of the actual accomplishment or whatever praise you get or attention you get for it. That takes the place of you actually accomplishing something. So therefore, you're not putting as much effort. People kind of need to distance themselves a little bit when you're starting something new. Now, you may share it with a close person or discuss it with someone who has done it to give advice, but you necessarily don't need to tell the average person. Reason being, it's kind of pointless at the end of the day. All the energy you have needs to be put into actually accomplishing that thing. And I'm telling you, fight this thing, a tier thing. You have to accomplish small things consistently, whether it's a goal you have within 3 days or for the week, and actually do it. And just build up your consistency, which will build up your faith, which will lead to you having more strength to be more persistent, because any person who has done anything worthwhile here on Earth, fire, is a very tough person. We spoke about previously in regards to like praising the gangster and all this, and temper tantrums and all this, and woman fire. I'm telling you, you talk to some little quiet people there that's really like a master at that craft. These are some tough people, because the amount of persistence that they have and determination, because already when you do something fire, stuff always going wrong, stuff always going sideways, and something crazy always taking place. And for you to stand firm and endure all of that, continue to learn, grow, and work in your craft, you're a different type of tough human being. And that's what we need to praise our society. The people that we praise, unfortunately, the people that we honor are people that aren't really that tough. Some of these parents out here tough fire because the amount of kids they got to deal with, and real parenting. I'm not talking about because your kids in the house, and I'm talking about some real parenting, really dealing with your kids. It's a tough task. You working in a particular field and gaining ground in that field and being there for a duration of time is a tough act. If I imagine being somewhere in a particular industry for 20, 25 years, you're a different type of tough person. Everybody here on the 9 to 5 for one day, anything go wrong, they out the door fire with all the whining and complaining. You get what I'm saying? Or to work at a particular craft, whatever it is, for that duration of time. These people should be respected and honored, because I really respect the long-term vibe fire. Not in regards to being long-term is something mediocre, but long-term in regards to something to contribute. A lot of these musicians should get more praise than they get. I know we deal with the hype thing, but a lot of people have been pumping out some great works for decades. No one pays them any mind. They may not have had a hit song, but fire, they're great contributors to the thing, contributors to the thing. You know, so the thing kind of backwards in a sense. But I don't want to stray from the argument. But going back to this persistent thing is like you have to just really, I can't emphasize it more. This is something I've experienced, and I can speak on this because it's something I've done in what I do. I'm a different type of persistent person, and it's not bragging or boasting, it's just the truth. But I understand the process and I understand how to get things done. You, as a person who has not been consistent in regards to doing stuff, you have to start small. It could be the most basic thing to say, you know what? I'm going to cook Wednesday and Friday. And actually cook Wednesday and Friday. Because anyone listening, how many times have you said you're going to do stuff and you don't do it? Become like a cancer and a disease. And you run into this terrible habit of not doing stuff. You can't jump from cooking every day and you don't cook one day. I think you need to hold yourself accountable. Say, if I'm going to cook on Monday and do that for a month and try to sprinkle in Tuesday. And you need patience. All these come together, fire. The determination, the patience, the vision, the grit, all that come with the persistence, all that come into the faith. Because if you don't believe in the outcome, you won't be able to do it. It'll be pointless to you. And we as Black people, we don't have faith. We say we have faith, but we really don't have faith at the end of the day. You can sing and cry all day. You really don't have faith because your actions show you don't have faith. You don't believe you can do anything. And the next thing fire want to throw in there, they don't feel worthy. They don't feel deserving of stuff. And that's the next deterrent that we have. You get what I'm saying? People don't feel worthy to sit at the table. And you build up your worthiness to sit at the table by actually putting in the work, fire. Because you know yourself, fire, you can lie to the people outside, but they know in their heart they don't feel worthy. That's why they kind of shy away from certain things. They don't want to go into the unknown, as I said. The man don't want to go into the wilderness, as I always tell people. Fire not trying to go into the unknown. They only want to do stuff that's back to your church analogy. They only want to do stuff that's guaranteed the outcome. Yeah, it may be raining, but check, if I go to church, the church is gonna be open. I'm gonna sit there. I can't take if I drive through this rain and go to the church and the church closed. I can't deal with that mentally, fire. So I'm not gonna go down that realm. So it's like we want guaranteed stuff.
Yeah, but and the funny there, I said that too, because you have two words we use. We have to really call them out now: work and action. See, you see them two words there. It's a funny thing because persistence is there in the people, but here it's just like it now conic. You know, like when somebody now convert, it's like people are see a particular advertisement, but them I click on the advertisement and I watch the ad, but them now go buy the product. I saw me see it as it's like a blocker towards the result itself. You see me? I said the people them have the firm grip, and them have the determination to talk about it. Like you will hear them get up every day and them reason about it, and yeah, man, it's a nice reasoning and nice talking. And that's why so much people get caught up in a debating, because debating is on the rise. If you talk about debate, the people are very persistent in that. Them know how for debate.
What I call debating intellectual masturbation, right?
No, but that them love that, them love the intellectual masturbation type of thing. They give them the kick there, but when it comes to leaving from that particular stage and moving over to dealing with the works, as they say, and the action now, that's where the people are still persistent. Them persistent not to carry out the work and the action. So you see, it's just how we put things in life. Is all about perspectives, and that's one thing we really have heard, that where the reasoning boil down to still, life is all about perspective, because them tell you say, all right, Luton 5 even have the tune, them say, call upon his majesty in the time of adversity. Adversity is not a normal type of thing, People feel like, say, persistence, I got dead here. Okay, we have the persistence and we have the drive now, but adversity won't come in. No, adversity is just a natural part of life. It's not no, oh, why am I so cursed, or why are things not going my way? No, everybody have things not go them way for you. That is not unique to you not having things going your way. So you see, if we can convert the whole persistence from the talking stage and make the thing rise up in the action stage, and then we can start to things and manifest the right way, at the type of persistence that we have. Because even though something positive, which persistence is a positive terminology every time you hear it, But even though you hear persistence in a positive light, it is not being applied the right way. We have to apply with persistency towards with particular goals, them, see how we want to deal with it. And then once we're persistent in that now, we learn how to take it from stage 1 to stage 2, and then we carry on. Or else we're getting in trouble.
No, reality, man, you're saying fire. Also the whole point of like fire stuff gonna happen in life. That's the next thing too, man. Like I even went through a phase like that. Fire. I remember when I had like some real good stuff happening for me, right? And I was so scared of losing it. It kind of trumped my determination because I was almost subconsciously avoiding certain tasks. Like I work out so hard for something to work, right? But then it's like I didn't want to go into a next realm now and kind of deal with it all over again in a sense of dealing with the uncertainty. And that's crippling in a sense because you only can stay at a certain level but for so long. If you're really dealing with things on the height and you're dealing with growth, it's just life in general, right? But yeah, it's really a vibe where it's like people don't want to deal with, or people don't want to accept the realities of life. Jesse Royal said it in the thing. What did he say? The thing that always made me laugh. He said, "You can't be happy when the sun is shining, and you can't be sad when it's raining because it has to rain. Fire. It's just the balance of things. You get what I'm saying? And we try to take the realities of nature, the natural laws of life, out of the equation, and we want to create our own man-made equation where it's just the good, and it's not the case. And when nature takes its course, it's just like everybody's knocked down and they're so depressed, but it's just nature, fire. Seasons. It's just as if you go outside, anywhere you go, it's seasonal, fire. This thing here during this time is not here during that time. Can't be a time 24/7. Yeah. It just can't. It can't work.
Yeah, you know something funny again too. When time they mention even faith, I always say persistence is the greatest determinant of faith. But when I think about it, say we talk about faith. Most people think about faith as religion and some form of spirituality. But when we think about faith, what else supposed to come to mind? The outcome. The persistence is the biggest determinant within the outcome. What is your faith? You see me, I say your faith. What is the outcome will come from this? You see me, I say enough no overstand say your outcome have to do with deal with because there is no, you basically have an intermittent type of movement. There is no continuity in a way I do. Then here we go now. That's why so much people have these nervous breakdown and them have this nervous breakdown and them have anxiety and all of these things. All of these anxiety things created from the mind, because themselves, they must tell themselves, yeah, say, I gotta do it. And even if they might do it sometimes, them very persistent in saying, all right, here what I gotta know. Today, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to write my business plan, I'm going to carry out all of these things. But here are the blocker to all of this, to the success in the equation there. In them outcome, oh, but this industry is so hard. I don't know if I'm going to even make it. Then why are you doing all of these things? Why are you setting a schedule? Why are you putting a business plan together? Why are you setting all of these things? But you are telling yourself, oh, the fate of this thing, the outcome, which fate, which is equivalent to outcome, the outcome is not going to be successful. Then why are you doing it? So that when you might have things say you are putting in, you are being very persistent, And it's true, you're being very persistent to carry out the thing, but mentally, you don't decide your own fate already mentally, And that's the reason why it convert again.
And fire, you brought up a great point, that energy, fire. Look, I'm gonna tell you what I do here. I'm gonna tell you a little secret what I do. I just put it out there. Yes, I have negative thoughts, right? Yes, I have doubtful thoughts, but I trump those. I'm gonna keep it very real with you. I don't know if my grandmother told me this, fire. Somebody at one, I know it was a female. It wasn't my mother. I think it was Granny G. If I have a doubtful thought, I immediately followed up with numerous thoughts of the thing working out. One person may say my mind is a little ignorant in the sense that I feel things are going to work. I just focus on things working out, right? Not to say I don't prepare for things not to work out, right? But I truly, majority of the time, think about things working out, how they could work out. Another thing people need to do also with the doubt vibe, if there's a idea doubt that comes in. Hold on, Fire. What I just say? Which one I just said? I said doubt already.
Yeah.
Oh, doubt and even like questioning your confidence and all that, right? Or putting out. That's the next thing I used to do when I was younger, teenager. Like say something happened and you start putting down yourself and all that. Now those thoughts are always going to come in. It's just your relationship with the thoughts and how you deal with it. And you have to build up yourself to understand and say, hey, all right, then this is here. Or reflect on things that I did great, or reflect on something that I accomplished, or overcame a particular situation. So that's what those are little tactics that you have to do. We got tactics for everything else, but we don't have tactics for basic mind maintenance to get through life. You pre what I'm saying? So like if a doubtful thought comes in, you have to think about a positive outcome. Also, I can speak about myself. I don't know what the next man doing. I'm pretty sure people do it because I work with teenagers and I know what they go through. But if you got to stay away from that talking down to yourself if something doesn't work out. Also, Fire, you got to ease up on your timeline. I think that's what's flopping out most people is that because they're in constant competition with people. First of all, you can't compete with no one but yourself. But that timeline, you can't. Yes, you may have a goal for it, but if you don't reach that goal, Fire, it's a coach. Ah man, I think she coached like South Carolina University or something. But she said, delayed is not denied. Right? Just because it's delayed doesn't mean it won't happen, Fire. And I think that's what flop out most people. They get so discouraged and frustrated because it didn't happen that timeline. Another thing I noticed with that aspect is that a lot of the frustration is not just with them, it's with other people. They're in a rush to impress other people, or they're in a rush to compete with other people. So therefore now, when they can't meet that timeline now, Fire, you laughing because you know that's the real deal, Holyfield, what I'm telling them. There's such a rush to whatever, gain acceptance. When they don't get it, it discourages them. But in our reality, if you really talk to them, they themselves are comfortable with the they themselves are comfortable with the delay. But it's like the whole image, they want the image quick, and that flop out a lot of people because listen, when you're doing something and working on something, you have to give yourself time to learn the craft. A lot of things we want, you just don't have the talent at the time. Like, why can't we just say that? Fire, I'm gonna give you one metaphor with this aspect that people know about the YouTube channel. I remember when I did the Jayut interview, right? We did Bird and Earl with Jayut. Where you at? Orange Street at? Where that studio at?
Orange Street and
Orange
Charles
Street.
Street.
All right, we
And
down
Charles
there, right?
Street,
So I
yeah.
figured to me now this is the greatest thing ever. Fire. I mean, a man like me that love reggae to do an interview with Jayut, right? No, nobody watch it. Right? Nobody not watching it, but I'm pre the thing because I started a thing and I want, the channel to get all this traffic and share this information with people. But one, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have the skill set. I didn't even have enough content if I had people watching it. You pre it. So it's like a lot of things you want, you're generally not ready for it, or it's just not your time. Why can't we accept that? Why can't a person accept that it's just not your time? And that's a conversation people need to have. And it's not telling you you're still persistent and work on your craft. And that's why it's good to read biographies about people and just speak to great people because, all right, see the tune. I'm just going to deal with music because we're dealing with music. You know already when Earth and Run Red came out for Richie Spice before it bust, right? And that's a massive tune. The Wally Riddim near with my bridge near Lanky. Was Lanky?
Linky Mars then them, yeah.
How long that man made that rhythm for that tune pop? That rhythm been sitting there from what I understand for all 5-6 years before it popped. And we just use a music analogy for it because we deal with music. But it's just like Fire, things take time. And people need to understand that, Fire.
It's funny how they say that, because it's funny how they say time to. The same reason I look for bringing in, because worship levels. I think about, you use music as an example, but I think about something else in my head. I think about Usain Bolt, right? The man injured for years. Because I get to a full point now when I feel like enough people are neglect. Something so simple and basic to, A man injured for so much years, and yet still a man could make a comeback and come to become the greatest sprinter of all time. See? But here was the easy thing when enough people are neglect. The first rule of nature is to preserve oneself. And that's one thing. If you imagine, running or track and field is a competitive sport because you run against other people. Your life isn't so much competitive as that particular that particular athletic type of sport, you know. But even in an athletics type of sport, where you're competing against other people, who you think is the most important factor in that? Is self, you know, is you as the individual, you know, because if a man for run 9.58 seconds, you know, him can't think about where the next man are gonna run, you know, because where the next man are gonna run, though it now gonna matter to you, you know. Is where you are though. I gonna make you run a 9.5 years. So you think say if the next man are gonna run such and such time, it gonna impact you or run that timing? No, it's only you. I'm feel like the people them neglect self too much. When the people them start neglect self, it start make them feel like there is somebody else or something else to decide them faith. And I feel like at the next part that why people cling to religion and them not really cling to the religion, even though them carry out the persistency, mentally the persistency is lacking for no say things can happen because one's neglect self in all of this thing. And if self is not included, there is no farmer persistency where I can help you and apply the right way. You have to meds that. So this competitive type of mindset. ETAs are good, you know, as we say, there is a timing. You have to put the time in on the thing, yes, but you put the time in to make sure so you stay in line and stay organized. That's about it, you know. Because if you put time in on something, you only put it on it to make sure it's all right, I stay organized. I don't slack. I have 2 weeks, so I give myself and make sure I do this and pace myself. Every night I put an hour towards this. So by the time the 2 week come, you know, so you can put a 14 hours. And you say, all right, 14 hours is what is required to get it accomplished. But if something come along where you have to shift your focus now, then it's going to take more than 2 weeks. Yeah, we know that. But the self, the meditation now. So just imagine now, you work on a thing where you're very persistent in this. You're very patient, you're very diligent, and all of these type of words that them want to use a positive. And this thing don't work now, you just tell yourself, boy, I know someone go crash and you feel away and you get depressed. Where you think, so what was the purpose of you being persistent all of that particular time? You don't feel like so the persistency can extend. I feel like the people them feel like the persistence is kind of a static type of thing, but them not understand the persistent have to have some form of flexibility. And the flexibility will come with that. It really make you improve the self. And once you improve yourself now, then guess what going on now? The product or the service where you apply, the persistence, you know, start gather grains and start take up speed and start push out to the world, and certain things can happen for you. You know how much levels. I'm feel like sometimes the people them neglect one thing in a fire. Success is an internal thing, you know. Success is not an external thing in a fire. Like a man as a boy, you know, a Bob Marley song legend upon the billboard forever, you know, how much weeks and years and thing. And all me did I write song, none of my song that never even go number 2 or number 3 on the billboard. Oh, yeah, but a Bob Marley meditation you are pre, or you are pre your meditation. We can lead it towards, because Bob Marley never had a pre billboard, you know. So sometimes the people them now meditate these things and to say, oh, the persistency where you have internally, that show up on the outside, and then the results start come from that. So we have to start meditate all of them things. Fire persistency can be good and it can be bad, you know, at the same time. Even though it's a positive word, you know, but sometimes we have to overstand. Say the only way it can be bad is if there's a limitation where you put towards it.
In fact, you brought up one next point. I don't know if this is the last point, but people need to start watching people here, because you don't know what people do or the commitment they have or the work that they do or what mix up they into. You know, a lot of people doing stuff that you probably wouldn't want to do for certain things. So long. The only thing, people need to internalize the energy fire. They just putting the energy everywhere else. And they're not putting the energy into themselves. You really need to put your energy into yourselves. Low people business, yo. Every day when people wake up, I hear people talking about, well, when I'm outside, I was here, people talking about celebrity business. It has nothing to do with you, fire. Put your energy into yourself. And I want to bring up one more thing that you brought up or highlight. Yo, we got to stop taking these setbacks as some type of great what do you say? I can't even pronounce words.
Atrocity?
Go there. Catastrophe.
Yeah.
Atrocity, same way. Like, fire. Easy. Every setback is not the end of the world, like some tsunami came and wiped out your whole thing. So people just need to lower it. It's like, I don't know if it's overreacting. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but just easy. If you get a setback, recalibrate everything, fire, and get back on the mission. Yeah, you may feel bad for a little bit in that. Like, you can't just get carried away just because things don't work out. And if you talk to people fighting and, they tell you about certain, like, I was doing this and this happened. So I'm like, all right. So what happened after that? Like you just stop. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I remember a man told me, he was like, yeah, man, I used to hoop. I used to hoop in high school. I broke my leg. So I was like, all right. So broke your leg. It was over. For how much people break limbs? I'm walking around a piece of glass. It's just like, and maybe undertone, people just want something. Maybe underneath, deep in their psyche, they want something to happen because they just don't want to chase it and don't want to deal with it. I think that's the case too, Fire. Like, people are like, they hope something happens because I don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to fight. People can't deal with things not working out. Like, I didn't know this magnitude until I got older. Like, I just thought it was a kiddie thing. But adults, they cannot deal with things not working out. They cannot deal with a probability of things not working out. They more attract themselves and align themselves with things that have the highest probability of working out. Now, anyone listening, you as an ambitious person or a person that has any faith or persistence, the competition out there is pretty limited for you if you can stick the course and just stay focused and work on whatever you're working towards. And just stick in there. It may take a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. The fact that you stick in, because there's not a lot of people out there like that, believe it or not. And maybe that's why people worship celebrities so much, because it's a small part, or successful people, because such a small part of society that actually do it or have that attribute to them. And it's a praise and envy mix with that particular person or awe. But like, it's really not that much competition like you would think.
Them need to cut out the competition part, take the competition out of their mind to fire, because from your product, I think both selling is not the other person's product, So I feel like them now made zero. Them are made too much about the other person's product till them start lose them. So what them I do? Let me see if I can tap that. No, what you genuinely want to, and how you genuinely want that be applied and received. That's it.
And the market space is so big for things, like, you'll be shocked that, like, Fire, you can really like lock down your little niche and really create something that can either provide a service or sell a product, or there's definitely, like, it's just, I don't know. I guess, and that's the next thing too, Fire, in regards to, like, I guess when you have experience, or I guess you get yourself, your mind in a certain order, you start to see the abundance out there instead of the scarcity. I think people really view the world in regards to, like, there's not enough. When Fire is so much out there. And when I say out there, I don't mean just in regards to monetary. I mean in regards to, like, things that you want to do, your customer base, people you want to reach, services you want to provide. The cake is big, and, like, maybe you should just stop fighting over crumbs with certain people and more kind of try to secure your own slice. I think that's the vibe that we on. But the gist of the thing, I'm not sure if you have something else to say, Fire, but the gist of the thing is that for a person to walk around and really say you have faith, you're a faithful person, I think you should observe their persistence in what they do, how consistent they are, their bounce back, right? That's what they really respect. I know they got all these quotes about there, like, I don't know, fall 6 times, right? So, Fight, the thing for real, Fight. I know it become cliche right now. All these things cliche and people not really taking it. A Gang have a thing where in a Tune Revolution, the man say, wipe out all weak heart conceptions, Fire. And that's a serious thing. Respect to the Ross too, Fire, because some of them all you when they start chanting, Fire. They burn some serious fire on doubt. You get what I'm saying, and all those type of things. And, like, yeah, if you really just observe a person and their persistence, their ability to bounce back, but that's the thing, everybody gonna have the setbacks. That's just part of the game. That's just part of the game. So just accept that and don't get too taken away or take that personally. You're gonna have your setbacks. You're gonna have things that you work for tremendously and they don't work out. It's part of the game. Your ability to bounce back from that, continue to stay focused, learn from it, and reapply now. That's what start to kind of put you in a different zone,
No, indeed.
Reality meds. We give thanks for everyone supporting the thing from those times till now. We've been working on some guests, but just keep it real. Our schedules are super busy, between things we do in family. So we try to make sure we get your word sound every week. Make sure you check out Generation Gap Riddim running live fire. Make sure you support the thing, stream it, buy it. Tunes there. It's pretty dope. You get 5 tunes if you go on, if you purchase it, right? You get 4 tunes in one dub on the different heights.
Real roots music,
big
real,
time,
real.
authentic, you know.
Yeah.
Tunes there from the one Autarchii, Mudabaruka, Luton Fire, Aimaru Tafari. Dub there mixed by Earl Chinna Son, believe it or not. The whole project was mixed by the great Bonsai Caruso. So definitely on heights. And my Brazier EP, if you didn't get it, Disrupting the Status Quo, which is still in the rotation in the car, not because it's my Brazier, but the thing beat. The link there is in the description. So we give thanks for everyone till next time, and hopefully that you're able to learn something and just apply it in regards to being more persistent, being consistent, believing in yourself, loving yourself. Because and fire, this thing come down to self. This is the next reason too, but it really come down to self-love, fire. Because if you really love yourself, you're gonna want the best for yourself. That's the next reason, fire. But we need to clarify what self-love is. So make sure we do that at some point. Really need to clarify what self-love is. Because people always talk about they love themselves, but I don't think that we clearly understand what it means to love yourself and how that looks.
Well, let me hear you say,